Hello, my loves. My name is Karis Rogerson. I am a writer, reader, podcaster, and your host for Publishers Brunch with Karis. I am recording this trailer the week before my first episode goes live, and I just wanted to give y'all, everyone who's listening, a bit of an introduction to what this podcast is going to be. This is really a project that I have been simmering over for like 6 months. I'm so excited to be launching it, and I just wanted to give y'all a little bit of info as to like who I am, what this project is, who's going to be here, what you can expect, etc., etc. So firstly, me. First things first, let's talk about me. Obviously, no, that's a joke. I am a writer and podcaster, as I mentioned above. My debut novel is an indie released young adult sapphic romance called Nat Kami's Guide to Running an Undercover GSA, and it comes out June 23, 2026, added on Goodreads today. And I have been writing seriously and pursuing publication since like 2014. Like that's when I set my first queries. And so this is a dream that I have held close to my heart and also shared with the world for decades now. And I can't actually reckon or like reconcile or just like believe that it's 6.5 months and I'll have a book out in the world. Like what? Yeah, so that's huge. Another thing to know about me is that I do have another podcast. It's called The Right Way of Life, and it is a collaboration with my good friend Addie. We have craft-focused interviews with authors where we chat about currently all things romance writing. Our first season was just on the basics of craft, so we talked about things like voice, and we talked about how to be a writer like in the face of success, and we talked about, character. And this season we've done so many fun things and talked to so many incredible authors, many of whom I hope to get on this podcast as well for a repeat sort of experience. So that's really exciting. But what about this podcast? This is Publishers Brunch. You may or may not know that that is a riff on Publishers Lunch, which is a newsletter, and I wish I could say that I came up with it myself, but alas, it was one of my friends' suggestions. My friends are so brilliant. I adore them. Many of them will be on this podcast if I have my way, which I usually do. Anyway, so the thing is, it's kind of like I've been pitching it as Chicken Shop Date meets Good Hang with Amy Poehler, but with brunch as a framing mechanism, and for romance authors, run by me, a romance-obsessed gay who loves brunch. Technically, I should change that. Whatever. We'll get to that part. Like, that was a spoiler for a later part. The thing is, it's not so much like brunch inspired. Like, it's not like the questions are about brunch, but it's more like brunch is a framing mechanism. So I sat down and I said, like, what are like the 4 courses of brunch, right? You've got your appetizer, you've got your entree, dessert, and then a toast. Like a cute little fizzy drink to cheers, knock it back, go on your merry way. And so I came up with questions that are less inspired by that and more like, this is what we might be talking about during this course at brunch. If I'm sitting down with my favorite authors and we're getting appetizers, we're just kind of getting caught up. We're getting to know each other. We're chatting about the world. We're maybe getting a little deep, but we're not like too into it. But then during the entree, we're going to gossip. We're going to have a heart to heart. We're going to really get into it. Dessert is where we just have some fun questions. We talk about books we love. We talk about other things we love. And then the toast is one of my favorite parts. And it's the soapbox question, right? Like you have ish 90 seconds to get on a soapbox. You're in the middle of Times Square. You've got a megaphone and a literal soapbox. Get up, tell the world what they need to know. It's giving, no thank you, honey. No. I just lost my mind. Whatever. The one in Las Culturistas, right? The like, honey question thingy, etc. I don't think so, honey. Oh my god, we got there, thank god. It's giving I don't think so, honey with Las Culturistas, which is, by the way, like impeccable podcast. Adore it, truly. You all know about it, but if you don't, go follow it. Tell them I sent you. Don't do that. So the tone of the show is really kind of celebratory and promotional, right? Like, I'm here to find authors that I love and to talk with them about things that are good and are bad, but in a way that is uplifting them and their work, because I am someone who, my journalistic ethos is always about uplifting. Partly this is because I don't have the chops to be like an investigative takedown journalist. Like, I don't have what it takes. That's why I dropped out of NYU. Like, there's a good reason for that. 10 years ago, let's go. I want to elevate. This isn't to say that I think that, like, journalism that investigates and calls out problematic behavior and calls out illegal behavior from our politicians, let's say, is bad. I think it's so fucking important. Like, probably one of the most important jobs in the world. Unfortunately, I do not have what it takes to be cut out for it. My phone keeps ringing. I don't know. It's potential spam. They can go to voicemail. Am I waiting on anything? No. Anyway. So, that said, I do believe in honesty, and I do believe in sharing what is happening in the world, right? And I want this to be a place where we can have honest discussions, both me with my guests and in the comments on Instagram or on the podcasting apps, or you can email me or Instagram DM me. Like, we can have a community space to discuss what's going on in the world openly and honestly, both the good and the bad, right? And right now, what's on my heart today is what's been on my heart this whole week, basically, and it's a tie-in to a feature that I want for this podcast, which is the call to action segment. So I believe that there are so many ways to fight back against the fascism that is not just encroaching, but like genuinely ruling our country in the US. And one of those ways, of course, is writing. Do that a lot. My book, Nat and Cammy, is literally about teenagers taking down homophobia, and I really hope that it will be an inspiration and a hope giver to teens across the country and even across the world. But in addition to that, I think that there are other small actions we can take. And so the action for today is actually a monetary action. It is a donation. They won't always be donation-based. Some of them will be time giving or resource giving or just knowledge sharing. This one is a donation. I would love, and I will share a link in the show notes, to encourage you all to give a donation to USCPR, the U.S. Campaign for Palestinian Rights. Freeing Palestine is something that has been important to me for years. It is something that has jumped into the front of my brain since October 2023, when this iteration of the genocide began. And I have made a commitment to talk about it on every platform that I have. The fact that Palestinians, and I'm talking about children, women, men, old people, non-political activists, especially in Palestine, in Gaza, are being killed indiscriminately and horrifically. And they're living in a reality that I cannot even fathom. The reality of just knowing bombs screaming overhead 24/7. Your neighbor could die next to you. Like, it's a horrific reality, and it is something that sits on my heart and has been on my heart very heavily this week, especially as my life in America has seemed good for the first time in several years. I mean, there has been good news. A month ago in New York, Zohran Mamdani won the mayoral contest. That was a huge hope bringer. We saw Democrats win in states like New Jersey and Virginia. We saw supermajorities, not flipped, but like unsuperified in states where there have been Republican supermajorities for decades. And also this week, or the past week and a half, I felt joy in, media, right? Like, Heated Rivalry came out a week and a half ago. It's overtaken my life. And so I've thought a lot about that this week. But in the meantime, while that's been happening, while I have been like oh wow, I am blessed and I am lucky and I am privileged to have some good things, I cannot stop thinking about what it is like in Gaza. And I don't know I don't know that I, as a singular low in power individual, have much that I can do, but I can do this, and I can encourage you to donate to USCPR, to donate to individual family fundraisers to help people find food in Gaza or evacuate, and I can encourage you to educate yourselves if you don't know what's happening and you don't know the breadth of the horrors that exist. And I can just encourage you to think and remember that Palestinians are our brothers and sisters. They are human. They are no different from you and me. The only difference is where they were born and the circumstances of their life. And I struggle a lot, especially in therapy, with things like why do I get to live life without bombs overhead and others don't? What is the difference? And the truth is, there is no difference. It's just fucking luck. It's just the luck of the draw. And so it's really important to me to do what I can to try and help. That was a really long-winded way to say this podcast is both a podcast and also my attempt to fight back against the fascism across the world and racism and genocides and just the horrors that persist. And part of that is through happy-go-lucky conversations with authors, and part of that is through hard heart-to-hearts of me to you with what's going on and encouraging you to take action. If you're still with us after that, which I hope you are, I would love to talk about some romances that I have been reading lately. I've got two to talk about. The first one, let's talk about Wild and Wrangled by Lila Sage. This is the fourth book in her Rebel Blue Ranch cowboy romance series. I just finished it last night. I'm recording this on Saturday, December 6th, so I finished it right before going to bed last night. Cried like a baby. Like, literally was bawling. The books are beautiful. It feels like coming home in so many ways to read these books, which is ridiculous because, like, they're set in Wyoming on a ranch. What connection do I have to ranches in Wyoming? Literally zero connection. But they feel warm and comforting, and there's so much, the writer family is just so welcoming, and I feel like if I were to show up on their doorstep, they would welcome me and they would embrace me, and that really means a lot. And this is something I've been thinking a lot about lately is my identity as a queer woman. I have identified as a lesbian for about a year and a half, but for the past 6 months or so, I've been questioning that. And one of the first moments of questioning it was when I read Swift and Saddled, which is the second book in the Rebel Blue Ranch series, and I thought, well, I could see myself being like Ada. And then I was like, well, obviously it would be like a cowgirl. But it was the first moment of like, oh shoot, maybe I'm a little more bi than I thought. And the next book that I'm going to talk about, you should not be surprised because I did already allude to it. It's Heated Rivalry by Rachel Reed. It is the queer male hockey romance taking over the airwaves these days. Not just the book, but the series adaptation. And this is when I had to really sit down watching the adaptation. I'm going to say something embarrassing. Watching the adaptation. I'm not going to say the embarrassing thing. I can't do it. And I really had to sit down and I had to reckon with the fact that I am attracted to men. And I really broke down about it. And I was in therapy and my therapist had to look at me and be like, Karis, it's okay to be attracted to men. And I was like in the middle of crying and then I burst out laughing because I was like, this is so funny. 4 years ago, you would have been saying like, it's okay to be attracted to women. And I would have needed that. And now I need to know that it's okay to be attracted to men. Like, whatever. This is what happens when you grow up evangelical and then come out and leave the church and whatever, you're 32 and life is a mess. But yeah, so I'm bi and I feel really good about this realization and I feel really like, again, like I'm coming home. Like this word, this identity feels like home. So y'all are some of the first to know. I mean, I've threaded about it, about it, but then I deleted that because only 3 people liked it, and I was like, I'm an attention whore. I need way more than that. So on this podcast, let's get back to it. Here are some guests you can expect. I've got my first 2 episodes lined up. We've got the incredible Maisie Eddings will be my first guest next Sunday. So stay tuned. It's only a week away. Elizabeth Stevens was kind enough to come on and chat with me. We had a delicious, delightful conversation. And I've had 2 more conversations with some authors, some really exciting authors that I literally was like, okay, yeah, let me email this author, like, see if they'll come on the podcast. And they did. And I was like, what the fuck is my life? Right? Like, that was wild. So stay tuned for a lot of really exciting conversations. In the meantime, you can follow on Instagram. It's Publishers Brunch, one word, then a hyphen, and then Karis. You can find it from the show notes here in this app or from searching on Instagram. I would love it if you would follow me, especially if you're on Apple Podcasts. You can leave a review, you can rate it, you can leave a comment on the other podcasting app. I really, I'm going to say something that sounds like ridiculous, but I really want this podcast to do well for my sake, obviously, but also I am so honored and thankful for the time that my guests are giving me, and I want as many people as possible to hear about the show, get to know them, get to know their books, maybe meet a new author to you, or just like bump up their books on your TBR. And engagement drives that. Like, there's no I can scream about the podcast until I literally run out of breath. It's not going to make it as impactful as if you tell your friends about it, if you like it. I mean, if you hate it, you don't have to. You can just ignore it. But if you like it, I would really, really appreciate it if you would leave a review, a rating, share it with a friend, share an Instagram post about it. It's can be as simple as that. Or if you want to go a little further, drop a comment on an Instagram post. Just, tell me I'm pretty. Tell me my voice doesn't sound like nails on a chalkboard, which I fear it does. Just all of that good stuff. So, all of that to say, wrapping up this 17-minute clip of me just yabbering at myself. This is Publishers Brunch with Karis. I am so glad you're here. I hope you love it. I love you. Let's go.